Hello friends, welcome to TechLec video tutorials. In this video, I'm going to give you brief introduction to what is cloud computing. And first we'll start with Azure Data Center. What is exactly Azure Data Center? And a high level overview on Azure Cloud Services. Okay, let's start with the session. First, what is exactly cloud services, or you can say cloud computing? What is exactly this? So nowadays we can see we are watching movies in online, we are listening songs in online, and OTT platform is available, and we are not keeping everything in local mobiles, local desktops. So if we go back 10 years back, 15 years back, right? So we used to have a desktops, laptops. We used to download songs, download movies, but nowadays, no one is downloading movies, nobody is downloading songs. So if you want to listen any song, just going Amazon Music or Airtel Music or any other music app. Or if you want to watch movies, we are going on Netflix, Amazon Prime, or any other OTT platform. So uh, just you need a internet. So here, when it comes to cloud computing, or you can say when it comes to what is exactly cloud services mean, everything available on internet. If you want to access, just you need a internet. Everything is available on internet. If you want to access, just you need a internet to access those services. It may be anything. It may be watching movies, it may be songs, it may be downloading anything, or nowadays online education, online learning. So everything is online. So means everything will be on online, which you can access those anytime at globally. Anytime, anyone can access it globally. So that is called cloud services. Then when it comes to cloud computing, so even when it comes to cloud computing means, even if you want to store some data as a software engineer's point of view, project's point of view, if you want to develop any project, if you want to store any data, if you want to store any data, if you want to run any program, if you want to write any program, earlier every organization they will be having on premises. So on premises means their premises. Every organization they will be having a network team, admin team, infra team. So they will be having a racks. They will be having a clusters, network team. They will configure clusters and network and everything. And whenever you use a laptop, right, those documents will be available in our laptop, even within a network, within office premises. So that is called on premises. And if you go 5 years back or 10 years back, right, whatever you use mails, PST files, mailbox, PST files. So most of the IT employees, right, so whenever you send a mail, those mails will be there in your mission. If something happens to the mission, they will be having a disk recovery, so they can recover, but it won't be available in online. Okay, so everything will be like documents, everything will be available in our local machine. But nowadays, SharePoint is available, Office 365 is available, and whenever you send a mail, and you can send from any system, just you need to log in that, because your mailbox will be available in cloud. Office this 365 is one of the concept. Or Teams, whenever you send a document in Teams, or if you have a Teams in a groups, so the Teams also in cloud. Whenever you upload a document, that will be there in OneDrive and SharePoint. So whatever we work, whatever we do day-to-day activities, everything will be there in a common storage place. So few bigger companies, they will invest huge amount, they will establish infrastructure globally, and that will be available for everyone, for public or maybe private. So that concept we'll call it as cloud computing. So not only songs, not only movies, not only data, even you can use IT services in cloud. That may be servers, that may be desktops, virtual desktops, that may be softwares, that may be applications, that may be data. Anything, anything which you can store in cloud, and you can use it globally, and you can write a program, you can execute a program, you can run a job, and you can create a virtual machine. So that is possible now. That is because of cloud infrastructure. Just you need internet. Just you need internet. Let's understand what is exactly data center. What is exactly data center? And before going to data center, I'll give a brief information about cloud service providers. I have listed few cloud service providers. Majorly, when it comes to public cloud service providers, Azure, AWS, Amazon, and Google, and a DigitalOcean. So you can find these are public services, public cloud service providers, and you can use their services. So anyone can use their services. Just pay per use. It's like a Ola or Uber. Whenever you drive a car, right? Whenever you use a cab, so you'll pay for use. So those kind of a concept, pay per use, pay per use. And when it comes to private cloud services, like if you go to the IBM, HP, Dell, Oracle, SAP, VMware, so these kind of companies, they will provide their services. Like if you go to Oracle, Oracle database, Oracle ERP, so their ERPs, their middleware, their databases will be available in their cloud. If you go to the SAP, SAP ERPs, SAP tools will be available in their cloud. So whoever is using SAP products, so they can migrate to their cloud. Whoever is using a Dell services, so they can use their services in cloud. Whoever is using IBM services, they can use their services in cloud. And even network also is available, public and private network. Even when we talk about Azure, AWS, Google, these companies also providing private services. So that is called private cloud. So separate secure network will be there. When you compare with the public cloud and private cloud primarily, public shared, okay, publicly shared, because everyone can use that, anyone can use that, and support multiple customers. So many people will be using these public services, and supports connectivity over the internet. And when it comes to banking applications, highly secure data, right? So public network is not suggested for that. Okay, it's suited for less confidential information. If you are looking for banking kind of projects, so they can use a private network, private infrastructure. So that is privately shared virtualized resources, cluster of dedicated customers. Only few people will be using those private services. Okay, and connectivity over the internet and fiber and private network. Separate network will be there for private cloud. Separate network will be there for them. Okay, and suited for secured and confidential information for systems, mainly banking, insurance systems. So they will be using private cloud, especially private networks. Private networks. Even a cloud will be having two types of networks: public network, private network. Even you can use private networks in Azure, AWS, Google, or these kind of services. The major difference between this is IBM, Dell, SAP, right? They will be providing their services. If you go to SAP tools, ERP tools, databases, reporting tools. If you go to Oracle, so Oracle, their databases, their ERPs, their middleware, you can find this, Cisco, VMware. But when it comes to Azure, AWS, Google, which you can use their products, or which you can develop your own products. You can develop your own product. So that is called cloud computing. Cloud computing. So let's understand what is exactly data center, where it will store whenever you upload a document, whenever you run a program, where it will execute, where it will run, where it will store. So that concept we will call it as data center. Data center, your cloud services physical location is data center. Whatever we talk about the cloud services, right? Those cloud services physical location is this data center. So every cloud service provider, they will invest a huge amount. They will identify the location, should give a flexibility to utilize whatever the natural resources, maybe power, and when it comes to different kinds of network services, different kinds of power backups, and environmentally supporting and supporting location. Okay, and it should not impact more floods, and frequently climate changes it should not impact, because if suddenly increasing temperature, suddenly decreasing temperature, it may impact this environment, right? So they will choose those kind of places that they will establish a data center. That is called physical data center. Let's talk about Azure. Let's Google it. Azure Global Infrastructure. If you Google it, Azure Global Infrastructure, you can find this page. Even a lot of videos are available about their data centers. You can go through these videos. Just explore the globe, click on this. So it will give you complete information about their data centers, available data centers, their infrastructure, their networks, their network POPs. So complete information you can find this. So what they will do, they will divide entire globally, they will divide into regions. Each region they will be having multiple data centers. So, and those data centers primarily to give you high availability. Consider, I'll explain the concept called availability zones. Availability zones. Let's skip this intro and explore the group. Now you see this. So you can find a lot of information. These are our networks. You can see this networks and network POP also you can find this. Okay. And most of the networks you see inside C. Okay. Those networks, most of the networks. And some networks are their own network, like a quality fiber cables will be there. And the bandwidth nearly around 300 to 350 TB bandwidth fiber cables will be there. So high quality network cables, and they will be using a public network. They will be using their own network. Okay, private network as well. So both networks will be there. And let's look at our India. So India is having primarily as of now 2 data centers. As of now, 2 data centers. Here you see this. Okay. Is rotating. Let's look at this. This is South India, Chennai. They opened this data center in 2015. So what they will do, they will divide into region. So India region, they are having 3 data centers. Earlier it was in Mumbai, and central is Pune. This is in Pune. Another one is in Mumbai. Currently you don't see the Mumbai data center. You see this? Mumbai, you can find the network POP, but you don't find the data center, because they closed the data center and they are opening in Hyderabad. This is upcoming data center. The gray color you see, right? This is upcoming data center in India South Central. This is availability zones, okay, which is coming here. What is exactly availability zone? So to give a better availability, consider you are running some job or you are uploading some data. Availability part. Consider if you are storing 1 GB data. 1 GB data in India region. India region, what they will do, every region, they will have minimum 3 availability zones. Means 3 data centers. One is Chennai, another one is Pune, and another one is Hyderabad. Consider if I store data 1 GB in Chennai data center, due to some network issue, due to some floods, if that data center is not available, so your data will be available in another 2 locations. That is called availability. So 3 copies will be there. One is a primary copy, your primary location. The another 2 will be additional. That we can choose that. Within a region or in another region also we can choose that. That is called availability. So that we will call it as zones. Each data center, every region will have it 3. Minimum is requirement is 2 as per standards, but they will go with the 3. So most of the cloud service providers, minimum 2 or 3. So currently, when you look at India, when you look at here, 3 was there earlier, but the Mumbai one, it is not available, and they are going to, it's upcoming data center in Hyderabad. So total 3 only. So 3 means 3 availability zones. So even region is India. So like this, you can go with every region. And another look at another countries, like if you look at the US, you see they will be having a more power, natural power resources. You see this. This is a wind power project, which is a 50 megawatts project. And if you look at this, this is a network which is AT&T and solar power. Look at this. solar power project, which is 225 megawatts. So they're having a tie-up with a few companies, and they are having their own power, different power backups, wind power, solar power, and hybrid power, to generate, to utilize natural resources. And another one is in future, when it comes to their planning in future, next 15 or 20 years, they are planning to avoid diesel generators, and they are going with more natural resources like wind power, solar power, hybrid power. Okay, so those kind of projects also you can see here. Networks, POPs, and you see three power projects here, and here you can see solar power. Here you can see another project. Okay, like this you can see multiple. So this is about cloud services. Cloud services, they are investing huge amount, and they will be having their own networks and public networks. High quality network cables will be used for that. And every region is nothing but they will be dividing the entire globally into multiple regions. India is one region. If you look at this, every region they will be having multiple data center. That is the region with availability zone. So central India. Location is Pune. This is Chennai. Okay, availability zone. So nearest availability zones also you can see this. So South India, and nearest is Central India. And if you look at Central India, and total available with 3 zones. Available with 3 zones. So disaster recovery point of view, okay, cross region disaster recovery point of view, and backup point of view, they will be having this data centers concept. Okay, and they will have a separate power, separate. Everything will be separate in every data center. They will have their own power network backups, and they will have a quality network cables. And if one network goes down, then other network will be there. If one primary power goes down, like a secondary and third backups will be there. It's called quality resources they will be using for that. For that, they need to invest huge amount because it's a service. Cloud is a service provider, so they will be getting benefit from that. So this is about data center. So every data center, they will be having more like racks. Each rack will be having more clusters. Okay, and every data center you can find the racks. Each racks you can find clusters like this. Those clusters are shared disk, shared memory, shared power. You see this. So that's compute completely, compute power, and disk storage power also will be there. So when you're talking about a compute infrastructure, network, storage, and compute, this 3 things we'll call it as infrastructure: network, storage, and compute so that we will call it as infrastructure as a service. So most of the cloud service providers are providing infrastructure, and a few more services are there that we will discuss. And this is the future concept. Last 5-6 years, Microsoft is testing a capsule data center. So this is the capsule they will be placing inside sea, and they are getting a better results because inside sea temperature will be normal, and the resource utilization is less compared to outside. Like consider if you are using more systems, right? It will increase the temperature. For that, controlling the temperature, you need more fans, more ACs. So for that, they need to use more power. So instead of that, if they are placing these clusters inside sea, temperature will be controlled. Then they can use less resources, less resource consumption, and better high availability. High availability means always available. So that's the concept which we can expect in future. That's called capsule data center. You can find a lot of videos in their website. You can go through this. And when it comes to types of services, so every cloud service provider services, they'll divide into 3 parts: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Primarily, they will divide into 3 parts: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Let's look at deep dive into this. What is exactly infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service? So when you look at the software as a service, end users will be using this. Means like if you are using a Gmail, if you are using a Google Drive, Google Docs, okay? So maybe OneDrive or maybe Outlook, maybe Office 365, Teams. So these kind of end user directly, you're not writing a program, you're not managing any application, just using, that's all. So those kind of services we'll call it as software as a service. So backend, everything managed by service provider. It may be backend storage, network, everything they will manage. So if you talk about Google Cloud, Google is managing backend everything. Just you go and use, that is called software as a service. Then when it comes to platform as a service, so developers will be using these kind of services. Platform as a service means developers will be using. Like Azure, most of the services are data related services, platform as a service. So we are using a data factory, Databricks, Synapse. Okay, so means developer can use that, developer can write any program, developer can schedule a job, and the backend, they will be managing backend network, OS, okay, everything they will be managing, means the service provider will be managing. So that is called platform as a service. Next one is infrastructure as a service. So system admins, because they will give only server, storage, network. Remaining things, which operating system you want to install, which virtual machine you want to install, which middleware you want to install, you can decide. Means you should have a more system administrators, just to buy that only that infrastructure, then use that. So most of the infrastructure projects you can find at AWS. AWS is providing more infrastructure related services. So that's about 3 types of service models, cloud service models: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So this is about just introduction to cloud services, and next video will more deep dive into more like what is on-premises, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Then what are the major advantages when you compare with on-premises and cloud? Why companies are coming into the cloud? And what are the major hidden things are there on on-premises? So that we will deep dive more into cloud services in another video. Thank you. See you in another video. Have a